Hello, folks, and we are again in a press box. Different one this time, though. We're at Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin. A pretty beautiful stadium, actually. However, I would not say what we saw in the stadium was beautiful. It was pretty much exactly what we expected. Wisconsin beat Indiana 59-7. I mean, we were expecting a blowout. That's what we saw. Joining me, as always, are Alex McCarthy and Justin Albers. I'm Max McCombs. Did anything about this game surprise you guys?
It did me. I mean, I predicted 55-10 in the paper on Friday, and it was pretty much what we saw. It wasn't 83-20 like we saw last year, which is, I guess, a positive. But Wisconsin came out and ran the ball consistently, ran it really well. Russell Wilson did what he had to do when he was in there for probably, 2.5 quarters. And then IU just, except for one really long run by Stephen Houston, really struggled on offense again.
Yeah, it was scoreless for the first almost 10 minutes of the game, and then Wisconsin just really turned it on and showed everyone why they're ranked in the top 5 in the country, and maybe the class of the Big Ten, maybe one of the top teams in the country. So nothing too surprising. The IU running game really actually was pretty good today. There was obviously that 67-yard touchdown run from Stephen Houston, but they ended up rushing for more than 230 yards for the first time this season against a team that wasn't South Carolina State. So, if you're looking for a positive from this game,
that was
there you have it.
The passing game certainly was not one of the worst performances we've seen from that part of this team all season. Finished with 64 yards passing. That tells you everything right there. On 20 attempts, 2 interceptions, only 8 completions. It was a pretty awful day from the quarterbacks. But the running backs were a positive. And, I mean, there was even with Wisconsin, Russell Wilson, who is coming into this game was being touted as a Heisman contender. I mean, he did what he had to do, but the running backs basically took care of the game for Wisconsin. I mean, almost every single one of their touchdown runs, it seems like it was almost effortless on their part. And the IU defense, while at times had a few moments, as they have in some games all season. At other times, just left wide open holes for the running backs to run through. And Monty Ball had a spectacular game for Wisconsin. He had a long pass reception. He had 3 touchdowns and about 140 yards on only 14 carries. And then, most notably, he had a pretty impressive pass to Russell Wilson on a trick play, took a pitch, and then tossed it out to Wilson, who was in the end zone, made a good catch on it. And I think if it hadn't happened already, that's the moment where the game was never really in doubt. That the ensuing extra point put Wisconsin up 21-0, and it was never in doubt from that point on, if it ever was.
Well, I mean, it all kinds of sets up everything else. Like you mentioned, the IU defense looked bad again, and that's kind of set up by the IU offense not being able to move the ball and forcing them to be out there against that big offensive line and that good running game and Russell Wilson all the time. And then Russell Wilson didn't have to do a lot because Wisconsin's running game is that's the focus of their offense. And they always start with that. And so teams have to be ready for the running game. And then the offensive line's so good that when they go to play action, Wilson's going to have tons of time to throw. Nick Toon, their star receiver, didn't even play today. So, I mean, Wilson has a pretty easy job when you think about it in that offense with the running backs that they have and the offensive line they have blocking for him up front.
Right, yeah. Like you said, the line play was very telling between the two teams. Even on offense for IU, even when offensive linemen would hold the defender, they would still get by them and pressure the quarterback and bring him down even. So, like you said, if it was ever in doubt, it really, even when it was scoreless for the first few minutes of the game, it was.
We still knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, still
and
not
that's exactly
surprising.
what happened.
Well, we also saw a 1-yard punt today, guys. So that was something new. Maybe we didn't expect that, but maybe we did also. So.
Yeah, that was. another non-highlight of the game for IU.
Yeah. And I guess one sort of interesting thing we saw a little bit of, and I don't know how much we should read into this, we saw a little bit of sort of a Wildcat type plays a few times with Kofi Hughes, who played quarterback in high school, has played wide receiver for the Hoosiers for his 2 seasons here. But he took a couple of snaps at quarterback. And at first we were thinking, well, maybe is this to protect Trey Roberson? But Roberson himself was playing later in the game. So who knows what this all is. But it was an interesting development in an otherwise pretty bland, one-sided game, which is what we expected coming into it.
Yeah, it was interesting some of the changes they made on offense. They kind of opened up the playbook a little bit. Like you said, Kofi Hughes ran the ball 7 times. Shane Wynn ran it a couple times, I think, or maybe just once or twice. But they also used a little bit of a diamond formation that that Kevin Wilson used when he was back at Oklahoma. So it was, it's good to see a little bit. They're definitely trying things on offense. They're definitely making some changes and changing things up. Like you said, Justin, the play calling was a little bit more adventurous this game. They went for it on 4th down a couple times, which wasn't too surprising. But it was good to see a little bit of a change on offense, a little bit of a spark once in a while.
Injury-wise, DeMarlo Belcher re-aggravated his knee injury that caused him to miss the North Texas game a couple weeks ago on a fade route from Edward Wright Baker right before the end of the half that was intercepted. He didn't play in the second half, and then Will Maddie, the center, got injured right near the end of the game. Wilson called it a knee injury, doesn't know how serious it is, so we'll keep you up to date on that. But otherwise, pretty predictable day here in Madison.
Those injuries both could be pretty significant going forward. Belcher, obviously, he is at times an almost unstoppable force at wide receiver. And when he's on, and he can make plays that I don't think anyone else on this team quite can at wide receiver. And that's what could make the offense click when it hasn't so far this season. And I think his injury woes are a big reason for that. And then Will Maddie is such a big leader on the team and very much the public face of the team. And and is a terrific person as well. So you hate to see a guy like that go down with an injury, and so it'll be interesting to see how the effect that those have on this team going forward. But for now, it was what we thought it would be. To channel a little Dennis Green right there. Next week is at Iowa. So after several weeks of home games, now IU has 2 straight games on the road. Who knows what sort of effect that'll happen. Perhaps that game will be closer. I think there's a good chance because I think we saw one of the best teams in the country in Wisconsin today, and maybe IU can take something from the fact that they won't play a tougher team all season. But until next time, I'm Max McCombs, joined as always by Alice McCarthy, Justin Albers. Take care, everyone.